Okay, we're at number 30 Tabernacle Street, EC2A, London. And this is the head of the British Psychological Society, the Tavistock Institute, Academy of Social Sciences and the Political Studies Association of the United Kingdom. Now all of these associations are driving policy. It's very interesting that we've got the British Psychological Society at the top there. They now seem to have all come under one umbrella. So these are basically institutions that are driving social change and social policy. In other words, how things are filtering down into the public. What we're doing here is we're looking at the way that limited choices are given, and those choices are then acted out by change agents within society. So basically driving social policy has been going on a long time, but it is a science now. For instance, when we were at Occupy, which was actually taken down by change agents very quickly, Occupy St Paul's a few years ago, the Tavistock Institute were doing social dreaming experiments there. Now social dreaming is a way of telling people what their aspirations really are, but it's also analysing the psychology of what's going on in people's minds. So they're creating the psychology and they're bringing it down through these organisations, a number of which we're going to look at later. Some are funded by the United Nations and are coming through local authorities. So basically this implementation of change is quite easy to follow, but what they're not telling you is what the change is. Now the change is the big society. So these institutions are very big on programming, social policy. There's several think tanks that link under this to the government, and these are driving this thing called social change. So really what we're looking at is the implementation of a communitarian, which actually really is communism. Sometimes it doesn't trip off the tongue, but the communitarian agenda of the British government, and indeed the European Union, is where these social changes are being implemented through organisations such as this. So you've got the British Psychological Society, the Tavistock Institute, the Academy of Social Sciences, Political Studies Association of the United Kingdom. Now, we did a show recently where we actually phoned up the Tavistock Institute to ask them about their social dreaming experiment, and they actually denied that they'd participated or instigated any form of social dreaming. Now it was still on their website and they had the screen capture, so either these people don't know what they're doing or they deny a lot of what's happening. So that's it. Here we are, the centre of global mind control, and here's the policy that's driving it. We're outside a place called Unlimited in Whitecross Street in London EC1, and we're just down the road from the Tavistock Institute of Human Relations, and this place ties in very much with that, because what they're doing here is creating social entrepreneurs. It all looks very innocent on the outside, but what they're doing is they're programming their own facilitators to go into communities to implement the change that we've been talking about, which is the communitarian big agenda, the big society. We've just been talking to two ladies down here who are having agitators put into places where they're living, and these people are the same people, the facilitators, who are going to be implementing this social change. So they're actually creating a divide and rule society. They're targeting people who they want to agitate, and then they're coming in with a solution. So basically the Agenda 21 big society is all about total surveillance and control of minds, and it's worth looking into this organisation Unlimited. There's another one called Locality, who are again putting facilitators into your local community, and this is happening all over Britain. 10,000 have just been trained to go in. They're doing it through the local authorities and the United Nations. So this big society is using what's called Saul Alinsky's rules for radicals, which is basically nothing's off the charts. It's worth looking at that, because these professional facilitators and agitators are using deviant tactics to subvert what decent people would call society. So Unlimited are training a certain amount of social entrepreneurs, but what sort of social entrepreneurs are they actually training, and what is a social entrepreneur? I would call a social entrepreneur someone who set us a small business and employed local people. I don't think that's what we're talking about here. We're talking about creating a network which filters down into Sustainable Development Agenda 21. So people are being programmed into that agenda. So when they're saying social entrepreneurs, we have to actually question what they mean by a social entrepreneur. On the outside it looks very fluffy, but when you do your research and your homework, you've got unlimited, regenerate and locality are using subversive techniques to create the big society. The bigsociety.org in this country, unlimited and locality that can be found on the internet. And the third sector, which is what these groups are part of, are also stating in their own documentation that in order to bring communities together, there is often a need for a common enemy. And we're finding more and more people are becoming the common enemy. So look into the big society, communitarian agenda, and how it's affecting your local community, because this is a worldwide program.